How do you know that you're in relationship with someone? There's the dance. We notice each other. We're introduced. Feelings arise. Maybe there's a verbal agreement to be in a relationship, to label it. But is that what it means to actually be in relationship? So have you ever been in a relationship with someone without a label, but felt those feelings? And have you ever been in a relationship with someone with a label and not felt those feelings? Let's just assume, for the sake of this episode, that the label isn't what tells us that we're in a relationship with someone. Let's talk instead today about the energetics of being in a relationship. What does it mean to be in a relationship at the energetic level? Now, why would we do this? Why would we talk about the energy of being in a relationship? Because it's at this level, this felt experience of a relationship, because that's what energy is. It's a felt experience. All the work, all the growth, all the good stuff happens in the felt experience. We don't love someone because they're our girlfriend or boyfriend. We love them because we have a felt experience of love. And when we can speak into the energetics of it, right? When we can speak at that level, the felt experience inside of you, because the energy between you, then we can harness the ways that relationship offers us freedom. We can talk about how, we can recognize how relationship offers us a way to connect to our own power. We could talk about how relationships help us grow. Now, what's really cool is that you don't even need another person to do this work. You don't need a spouse or a romantic partner to explore the energy of a relationship. And if you stay tuned to the end of the episode, I'm going to share with you some ways you can begin to do this work inside yourself without a partner. No partner needed. But the whole point of this, the whole reason I actually do what I do, the reason we're talking about relationships in this way is because, to me, relationships are the map to freedom. Relationships are where we learn about ourselves, where we learn about reality and other human beings, where we learn about connection, and in so doing, find freedom. Find that experience of complete unattachment, but also total presence. That experience of being connected without the stories, without the stuff that makes us want to detach and hide in a hole. That's why we're talking about relationships in this way. This is Reclaiming the Gentleman. I'm Dave Lashansky. The way I want to get into this, the way I want to explore the moment that I found freedom, the moment that I gained access to a new level of freedom inside my own relationship, came from a story, a really painful story from my relationship. It's a story about an unconscious story that I was actually telling myself. And that space before thought, right? It's an unconscious story. It was happening before I could reckon with it, before I could reason with it, before I could even feel through it. This story was playing out unconsciously, and it was so incredibly painful when it came to the surface. Now, this story that I was telling myself is the reason I'd been unsuccessful in love and relationships up to the point when I finally became aware of it, right? And it was in many ways the hardest moment of my current relationship. It was some of the stormiest seas we'd ever endured. It was a moment where I felt completely broken open. So what's the story? Well, I can tell you about the moment when I first recognized the story. The moment I finally heard this story that had been playing out unconsciously for really my whole life. And that was causing in my partner so much pain. And I was so confused why she was so upset. So I'll set the scene here. So we're sitting in a car in our parking spot in our building. She's in the driver's seat and I'm in the passenger seat, and she is sobbing. She's sobbing and over repeating the words, "Why don't you take care of yourself? Why don't you take care of yourself? Why won't you take care of yourself?" And sitting there totally confused as to why this would be her reaction, why it would be so strong and so sad. I finally realized, only after hearing it over and over again, what she actually means. You know, I'm sitting there, my hair's grown too long, which when you're balding is a problem. Seriously. My beard was overgrown. It was unkempt. It was coming down my neck and over my cheeks. My body was thin to the point of being frail. I mean, I've always been skinny, but it was stiff. And when I looked in the mirror, I could see how burdened and weak I really looked. And she could see it too. And to the outside world, honestly, like, it was totally acceptable. Right? I was a normal guy. There was nothing noticeably wrong or out of place about me. Nothing you'd write home about, at least. But to her, the woman who knows me better than anyone, I was broken. I'm sitting there, this broken, frail man, finally hearing for the first time that I wasn't caring for myself. I finally, in that moment, heard the story that I'd been unconsciously telling myself for years and years and years, and it was this: I don't deserve it. Not yet. I don't deserve to feel good in my body yet. I don't deserve to feel like I look good. I don't deserve to put energy into my well-being beyond what I was already doing. I don't deserve to be proud of myself yet. I don't deserve a break. Not yet. This is the thing that broke us. This is the thing that broke me open when I finally realized it. Because it was apparent to me in that moment that that couldn't be true. That I would never, ever get to this place, this success, this wealth and abundance, this harmonious relationship that I wanted if I kept playing out this story. And the foundation of this story was that when I make it in my business, I'll deserve the things that I need to thrive. Right? For me, it was so much about business. It was about working hard to earn the thing, right? This American dream story that I didn't really believe consciously, but that was playing out unconsciously for me. That once I made it in business, I would deserve these things that I needed to thrive. Regular haircuts and beard maintenance, right? Taking care of myself in that way. Hours at the gym and being outside to make my body strong, to physically take up more space. That was part of the story, was I was telling myself, you can't get any bigger. You don't deserve to take up this space. It wasn't a conscious thing. It wasn't something I was actively participating consciously in doing to myself, right? Be small, be frail. But it was part of the story. Take up as little space as possible while you're in this version of your life. Don't take up space. You don't deserve it. I mean, even just sitting with it right now, it's like, it's heavy. It is a heavy, heavy energy to hold. And there I was listening to my partner, my amazing partner, talk about how much it was hurting her. about not understanding where this was coming from, and finally getting it. It didn't matter that I had intentions to become successful, that my intention was to have a thriving business and eventually get to this place where I could do that. It didn't matter to me. The story in my head that became conscious finally was that I didn't deserve my own self-respect and the freedom that comes with that until I achieve something. And there's a truth that I learned shortly after this happened, and that honestly I remind myself almost every day. Because this story is one that is old and it's deep, and when that happens, it tends to show up again. It tends to be something we have to learn to tend to regularly, and it's something that I do tend to regularly in my life. This story of unworthiness, that we don't deserve what we want or what we need to thrive until, you name it, until we have the money, the relationship, whatever. But there's a lesson I learned that's helped me deal with it. And it's this universal truth. It's that we give freedom to ourselves. We give ourselves our own freedom. This happens within us. And we give ourselves freedom in order to receive the love and affection, really the bounty, the abundance that we want. It starts here first. To have the relationship that we want, we have to be the person who knows in their bones, even in their current circumstances, even if those circumstances are not sustainable or good enough for you, you have to know that you are worthy and deserving of the biggest love you can imagine, bigger than the biggest love you can imagine. And that is a hard-fought lesson. That is a tough thing to live every day. And yet, it is a deeply, truly transformative, noble pursuit. It's the work I love doing with others. It's the thing that I love working on in my men's circles, in my workshops, in my couples coaching. It's being so clear, offering so powerfully to ourselves the love that we really want. Allowing ourselves to be worthy even if we don't consciously feel satisfied with where we are. It's the amazing thing about relationships. It's why I do what I do. They amplify what happens when we operate with this self-awareness. They amplify what happens when we don't. They amplify the unconscious stories you tell yourself about what you deserve and what you don't and why. It's why they're hard, because most of us have these unconscious stories. And when they play out, when they start to affect that person, the energy changes. The energy of relationship. Being attuned to that helps you see where the story is, what the story is, if there's a story there, if it's yours, if it's theirs. It's a powerful, powerful gift. And it's one to be honored. Because when she expressed this to me, when I could feel in her how strongly this moment needed to be the reckoning, needed to be impactful, needed to change me, I stopped fighting her. I dropped my shield and I dropped my sword and I heard what it was she was trying to tell me. If you're in a relationship with someone and you're trying to communicate something at that level, right, at that intensity, with that ferocity, sometimes it takes repeating yourself over and over and over again to be heard. And you have to decide for yourself what your limit is, how much of that you can endure, how much of being in a space, in an energetic relationship with someone who's telling themselves a story of self-harm, a story that's hurting them. That is a powerful decision we have to make internally for ourselves in a relationship. And that answer is going to be different for all of us. But it's an important thing to know. This is the healing and the liberating power of relationship. It's all these inquiries, it's these questions we're forced to ask ourselves. It's this courageous way of being connected to someone else that we're compelled to do, right? The power of relationship, the healing of relationship is that it is a calling to be better, to move toward the life that we most want. And what that looks like in effect, whether this is clear to you or not, is that it is a calling to shine down on yourself the love you crave from someone else. And you do this so that someone else you're calling in can see that it's possible, can see that it's safe, can see that it's rewarding to love you that immensely. It's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing. It is one of the most powerful forces in the whole world. But when we allow the story of our unworthiness, consciously or not, to direct our lives, the way that I was doing, the way that sometimes I still do, the effect is that we show our romantic partners that there is something not safe to love in us. How sad is that? And if this is what you're experiencing in your relationship right now, know this, that it is possible to heal this part of you. Even when you forget and you think you'll never again remember what it is to feel that way again, I promise it's possible. This is the nature of life. We forget and we remember and we forget and we remember. And what we're remembering is exactly this, that we are worthy and deserving of shining down so much immense, powerful, beautiful, juicy love on ourselves and the people who accept it from us. And here's the thing that I want to make perfectly clear here. If you are in this story, if you're stuck in a story, consciously or not, that you are not worthy of love, right? That if you're in that cycle that I was in, where I felt like I didn't deserve to care for myself, I didn't deserve her love and affection, I didn't deserve to feel good about myself, know that that is not, it is not a measure of your character. It is not a flaw inside of you. It's just proof that there is a story that needs your attention, that's begging to be heard, that's playing out inside you. And with curiosity and self-compassion, you can change that. You can come into deep, powerful, loving relationship with yourself. And in so doing, call it in another. Because intimacy is exactly this. It's knowing the parts of another that must be held with care, and to deepen that, to grow in your ability and your power for intimacy, you have to hold all parts of yourself with care too. This is where the energetics of relationship can be improved. This is how we improve it in our external relationships, by working on ourselves, by addressing our internal relationships, right? So how can you practice being with the parts of you that you're uncomfortable with? I have an exercise for you, but this is that thing. This is the work. This is the first domino. that opens up your relationships. The first domino that allows you to feel seen and heard, that allows you to finally recognize what stories are playing out inside of you without your knowing. This is how you do it. So let's start with practicing being with the parts of us that we're uncomfortable with. So maybe it's anger. What would it be like to be curious, loving, and gentle, but curious with the part of you that gets angry, right? The language I'm using here, there is a part of you that is angry. There is a part of you showing up as anger in this moment. So how can you get to know that part of you? How can you build a relationship with anger? The part of you that shows up, hi, I'm here and I'm angry. Let's get to know it. So how would you do this? So think of a moment recently when you were angry, not something where you were like totally losing control, but just you were angry. Maybe you were driving in your car and someone cut you off. Maybe your partner left the dishes in the sink, and that's a conversation you've had in the past, right? And anger shows up. Just imagine yourself entering the scene there. Imagine yourself seeing this version of you playing out in front of you that is connected to anger, led by anger, right? Your angry self is in the scene opposite you, and you're showing up here. What would it be like to give that angry version of yourself loving attention? What would it be like to have a conversation with it? And this is imagined, and you might think you're going crazy while you're doing this, but I promise you, this is powerful stuff, and it works. So go with it for a second. See that angry version of you in this scene with you, and ask it what it needs. Not from your partner, not from that person in the other car. What does it need? What's happening for it? What is it doing for you? What is it trying to get you? Yeah? It is trying to serve you in some way. It's showing up here with some benevolent intention. Whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, what is it trying to get for you? See what it has to say. You can do this with any emotion. Maybe it's sadness. Maybe it's joy. Maybe it is anxiety. Come into a scene where you feel yourself playing this out and get to know it. Ask it what it wants for you, what it's doing for you. This is giving yourself loving attention. When you take it, the time and space to do this practice will open the doors to deeper intimacy with yourself and in your relationships. It improves the energy of every relationship that you're in, not just the internal ones and not just the romantic ones. You can be the person who loves deeply into all of you, who endeavors to know all of you, and who braves those waters of leading by loving whatever you perceive in yourself. Thank you so much for listening to Reclaiming the Gentleman. If you're attempting to do these practices and hit a roadblock, hit a dead end, or just feel confused in general about it, reach out. It is often really difficult to do this work on your own. And if that's also your experience, know this too, that when it gets hard is usually when you've hit something important. And I think while we can do so much on our own to improve ourselves, we also need each other. We need people to reflect back to us the things that we can't necessarily see. And if you're a man and you're interested in doing more of this work, if you're a man and you're wanting to work in your relationship on unarmoring, on that practice of putting down your sword and shield, if you're in relationship and you're recognizing there's something more needed of you and you're not sure how to access it, I have an offering specifically for you. And right now, I'm looking for people to join the very first version of this program that I'm offering in hopes that you'll help me improve it, in hopes that you'll help me make it better for other men. And as a thank you for doing that, as a thank you for becoming one of the founding members of this group, I'm offering it at the lowest price it'll ever be. But right now, if you're interested in joining a 3-week program designed to help men show up better in relationship, designed to help men shed the armor that we unconsciously wear, the armor we unconsciously put on as boys that's affecting our relationship. This is for you, and I would love for you to join what I'm also calling Reclaiming the Gentleman, just like this podcast. You can sign up at the link in the show notes, or you can go to davelashansky.com to learn more about it. It is a 21-day transformational journey that I just can't wait to get more and more men into. If you want to know more, if you want to learn more, reach out, let me know. Don't wait. If this is something that you care about, we will be closing the doors soon, and I would love to have you join. If you know a man who might be interested in this, who might be looking for some way of deepening in his own relationship, send them my way. Please send this podcast to them. Let's help each other. Remember, what you can consciously love inside of yourself allows others to do the same for you and for themselves. And right now, I think this is the gift we're all meant to be offering each other. Thank you for listening. I will see you in a week with a new episode.